Prepare for the epic Comic-Con experience by me, the epic movie trailer voice guy. So this is just my kind of really quick run-through of my Comic-Con 2014 experience in San Diego. I took my wife every year we go. I usually get a professional pass, and unfortunately, this year they told me far too late that my pass needed to be renewed. They told me after it needed to be renewed that it needed to be renewed, so it was 3 months too late by then. So I didn't get my professional pass. It was too late for me to get my press pass, which I was also eligible for. So I was basically out of a badge, which did not work well for me at all. But I knew all my friends would be there. I knew a lot of professionals that I know were going to be there. So I decided to go anyways. So my wife and I did not cancel our plans. We decided to go anyway. And we ended up having a really great time. Thursday morning, I didn't get to do anything. I got there at about 11 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't have any work all day Wednesday, but come Thursday, everybody needed me to record. So my little tiny, pathetic mobile set up with my little, Apogee mic and my cell phone with my iPhone and an app called Twisted Wave, and I'm recording in my little box with my head in it for Fast and the Furious 7 and all this other stuff. So it was like, wow. You guys couldn't have called yesterday? I ended up losing about 3 hours from work, but nice problem to have, I guess. Thursday at lunch, we met up with the guys from Break, doing some prank stuff downtown. Obviously, if you haven't seen it yet, you have to go watch that. I'll put a link right here someplace for one of my favorites was the your copyrighted cosplay prank. Was awesome. Kudos to Kevin Bruick for that one. My wife finally got to meet Alex Mandel, Howie Mandel's son, who directs, Kevin Bruick, who's the host. We met Orlando Jones from Mad TV. I believe he's also in Boondocks, if I'm not mistaken. But really, really funny. My wife's a huge fan of the movie Evolution, and he was in that movie. So I literally dragged her over there before you ran off. So she was like, holy crap, it's really you. So that was Thursday, majority of Thursday. Thursday night, we had, I met, my wife was exhausted, and rightly so. There's a lot of walking. We met up with Charlemagne Prime and Charlita One and Shonix Long and his fiancee, Natalie. And so, yeah, we met up with that little small group. We went to Joe's Crab Shack to eat. And I saw Mindy Sterling there. I was like, what? It's Mindy Sterling. Said it's the clouds! So, and weirdly enough, I stalked her on IMDb, and she actually worked in a movie I did the trailer for. How about that? 12 Dogs of Christmas was some cheesy Hallmark movie I did the trailer for. She actually worked it. Thursday late at night, I went down to the bar to get some water and hang out with everybody, and ran into Rob Corddry, I believe that's how you say his name, from Hot Tub Time Machine. But yeah, you also know from Children's Hospital and What Happens in Vegas. That was very, very cool. And Toby Jones was out front getting a cab. Dr. Zola from Captain America. And John Michael Higgins, who you would know from Yes Man, Bruce Almighty, and most recently he was the voice of the park ranger that got everybody in trouble in Planes, Fire, and Rescue, that if you even saw that movie. And I also saw a very drunk Chris Gore from Attack of the Show, who really, really loves Honest Trailers, by the way. His favorite one is Game of Thrones, and why not? Because of all the beebs, and more beebs. Friday morning, my wife slept in after I took her to breakfast. Friday morning, I met Andrea Romano. I've always wanted to meet her. She's the casting director for all the DC animated stuff, as well as a voice actor. Really, really big fan of her. She was freaking awesome. And saw the guys from Screen Junkies shooting up front with, they were on the quest for boobs. So got to see Hal Rudnick and Andy Signor, who actually created Honest Trailers and helped write with them sometimes. Used to do all the writing. But yeah, so I saw those guys out filming. I still didn't have a badge. Friday, I went back. Friday at lunch. My wife and I went to lunch at the hotel restaurant at the, the Hilton. And we sat across from this huge entourage from Box Trolls, which is the new film coming out. My friend Steve Bloom is in. You would know him for lots of voice stuff. But Elle Fanning, Dakota Fanning's little sister, the star of Maleficent, one of the stars of Maleficent, who plays Sleeping Beauty, sitting right there, was awesome enough to let me take this cool picture with her. Was very, very, very kind. I mentioned that I'd worked a little bit on Maleficent, and I did the voice, and she was like, she got a big laugh out of it. And the person I was the most nervous to meet, I met that afternoon, Ben Kingsley, was sitting with that group. Apparently he's also in that movie. And wow, that was the only time my hands were actually a little bit shaky. I was like, I did some ADR for you on Iron Man 3 and for Ender's Game. And he's like, oh, that's great. So I didn't ask for a picture. I didn't want to interrupt. They were not eating at the time, but they were just talking. But that was a little unnerving, but it was still pretty awesome. After we started heading over the Sky Bridge from there, we ran into Josh Peck, from Drake and Josh, and now Casey Jones from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And my friend Cam Bowen, my new friend Cam Bowen, the voice of Robin from Young Justice, actually introduced us. We met at Hollywood Improv, and he introduced us, so that was pretty cool. And he's like, I was just telling him about you, so that was really cool. My wife's a big Drake and Josh fan, so she was like, oh. Friday afternoon, there's a huge Magic the Gathering tournament downtown, so I met up with the Smosh Games guys who I knew were in town, so watched Lasercorn gather some magic, and met Rob from Smosh Games. And see, I think Jovenshire was also playing, and a soldier there is actually a huge fan and offered to buy me a drink and wanted to. We just sat there and talked for like 40. It was a really, really cool guy. So thank you for your service to our country. Friday night, Joltin' Joe's was taken over by this video game group, and they had this exclusive party upstairs, and it was 150 people online. Luckily, I have friends in high places. So the guys from Smosh Games got me up there. So I hung out with Davis from Warp Zone, Matt, Lasercorn, Wes the editor, and Jovenshire from Smosh Games. Kevin Brook from Break Pranks was up there. Philip DeFranco was up there, who we've known each other from VidCon and stuff, so we all swapped stories and had a really good laugh and hung out there for quite a while. And all this without a badge. Saturday day, I finally was able to get a pass. I got to go to the show floor. I met my friend Dino Andrade, who you know as the voice of Scarecrow from Arkham Asylum, and lots of other video game stuff. He runs a booth called Soul Geek, where they hook up estranged and awkward and wary people who are looking for other nerds to connect with, and they date, and so it's kind of a love connection for nerds. I only had the one pass, and my wife couldn't get in, so I just went around looking for voice actors to say hi to. There was a table with a bunch of different people that you could get autographs from. First I saw Tara Strong. Tara Strong, I love her so much and her work, and she's a really inspiring voice actor. She's just such a sweet, generous person. She's at the level in her career where I would love to be. She's done hundreds of characters on lots of very, very popular stuff. Most recently, My Little Pony, which has become huge. And she does a lot of charity work. I just told her that I was really, really grateful that she did so much charity work, and I just wanted to donate. She actually has a thing where you can donate $0 to $50 for a charity item, and she has all this little stuff out. And I gave her $60 and just told her handler that just keep the change. I didn't want anything in return. She'd done something for my kids last year and just wanted to be a help. And she was so sweet that she basically forced me to take stuff. She's like, no, you're taking it. And you take whatever you want. One of the 3 things that Tara Strong signed for us. For Kaylee, she signed this awesome slap bracelet. It says to Kaylee, Heart Tara Strong. And for Destiny, I know this is probably worth more than the money I gave her, but she gave her this awesome, Beanie Baby with Twilight Sparkle and signed Tara Strong on the wing. So she's super, super sweet. Vic Mignogna was right next to her. You know him from many, many animes. And we know each other because he was at our very first Anime BluesCon conventions here in Memphis. So then after that, I ran into R.J. Mitty from Breaking Bad, who played Walter White Jr. And I knew he knew people that I'd worked with because he did that Father's Day video with Screen Junkies. And he saw the Honest Trailers shirt. He's like, Honest Trailers, I love that so much. And I told him who I was. Like, oh, you're the voice of Honest Trailers? No way. And he flipped out. Apparently he's a huge fan. He's like, have you done any other stuff? And that was the coolest part of the story for me, was like, actually, yes, I do real movie trailers, and I worked on Breaking Bad quite a bit. He's like, no way, we're like coworkers. He's like, have you done anything else I would know? I was like, well, do you play any games? He's like, yeah, I love video games. What games have you been in? I said, well, I was in the XCOM franchise. He's like, XCOM, what character? I said, I was the bald, faceless guy that tells you what. He's like, oh, I know exactly who you are. I hate you. You're the guy who always gets on me when I mess up in the game. So he was very, very energetic and really excited to meet. I was just really cool to meet him, and the fact that he loved what I worked on and I loved what he worked on, that was really awesome. And the funniest part of that story, though, was the people with him, the handlers that were holding up signs to keep people from taking pictures of the people at the table without paying for them. They're like, actually, we're big fans too. Could we come over to the other side of the table and get pictures with you? So Walter White Jr. is taking pictures of me with my fans from across the other side of the table, right next to Vic Mignogna and Tara Strong. It was very awkward. It was kind of awesome, but it was a little awkward. After that, there was also the kid from We're the Millers, the one that did that rap and had the spider bit my bingo. Yeah, that kid was down there too. Then I went over the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles signing, and Rob Paulson was there. Big fan of Rob, and we know each other. Josh Peck was there, who does Casey Jones' voice. Greg Sipes, or Kipes, not sure. I think it's Sipes, who does Michelangelo's voice, was there. A couple others that work on the show doing a signing. Eric Bauza showed up, big fan of his. He does Foop from Very Odd Parents, as well as Tiger Claw from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know why he wasn't signing with the Turtles group, because he's in the show. He's a really cool, down-to-earth guy. Also ran into Diedrich Bader, who does Batman Brave and the Bold and Monsters vs. Aliens and Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness. You might also know him from Office Space. He's the guy that says, two chicks at the same time, man. That's what I'd do with $1 million. And then I went over to the SpongeBob signing with Tom Kenny, who scolded me for being in line because we know the same agent, Pat Brady, and he's like, why didn't you just get Pat to get you an autograph? I'd have mailed you something. He was that cool. And I'm like, dude, it wouldn't be fair to everybody else if I didn't wait in line with everybody else. But he was very, very cool. Got a picture, got to talk to him for a few minutes. That was awesome. Tom signed this for the kids. It was very cool of him. I ran into the Hasbro booth and went and saw a few people that I'd known from BotCon a while back. Saw the new stuff that's coming out. My kids are going to flip over some of the stuff, the Angry Birds Transformers and the Hero Mashers. My kids, especially my autistic son, are going to love that. Then Jonathan Kite from Two Broke Girls, got a picture with him. He's the inappropriate chef who always says sexual things in the kitchen. My wife really loves that show, so that was a fun picture for her. Saturday night was date night with the wife. I took her to Donovan's Steakhouse, a really, really nice place. It was really, really good, but I'm a little spoiled for Ruth's Chris, so Ruth's Chris was better, in my opinion. But it was still a really nice place. And apparently Lou Ferrigno was eating at the table behind us, and that was kind of interesting. So apparently they blocked up a whole section for him. Anyways, they're like, oh, we only keep that for the big celebrities. Like, is he really that big of a celebrity anymore? Then Saturday late night, went to Wet Wheelies with Andy Signore was there, who created all his trailers. Who runs, like, VP over all this stuff and, creative director, whatever. Dan Murrell, who works on all his trailers. Alex Mandel, who's working with Break for the prank stuff and Odd Jobs. Bruick, who is the host for Break's Pranks. Piotr, who is the guy who does the amazing impressions that are so good that he was all over the news with his Academy Awards video that he made. Really cool guy. Finally got to meet him in person. We've known each other online, but that's about it. And he's, working a little bit with my manager, doing some voice match stuff. Wes, the editor, Lasercorn, Jovenshire, Matt Robb, Michael Davis from Warp Zone, they were all there. So we hung out there for a really long time. And that was probably one of the craziest parties that I went to while I was there. But it was very, very loud. There's music videos and everything. They have a live DJ and everything. It was crazy. And the slushies, so many slushies. So Sunday morning was the only panel I really, really wanted to go to. Business of Voice Acting, and it's the best panel at ComicCon in my opinion for voice actors especially. But it's so much information shoved into it's the last panel for the convention. And it was really awesome. They had Mark Evanier, who does the casting for a lot of cartoons, but mainly for Garfield. You would know him from, at least. And then there was Sandy Shar, who was an agent, from one of the biggest agencies out there. My agent, Kathy Lizio, was there from CESD. And then the voice actor panelists were Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy, and Vanessa Marshall, who you'd know as Wonder Woman, and she's also in Star Wars Rebels coming out soon. And Greg Berger, who you know is the voice of Grimlock, and also tons of other cartoons. And it's a really, really great panel. If you ever get a chance, anybody who ever is interested at all in voice acting, or just voice actors in general, or just the business of cartoons and voice over business industry, whatever, you should go to that panel. It's usually the last one. It's right at 2:30 or so, and it runs till the end of the panel, or to the end of ComicCon pretty much. Wife and I got some more lunch at the hotel and the lobby hotel at the Hilton, and saw Shawn Ashmore from X-Men, Bobby Ice Man. So he's a lot taller in person. But yeah, that was pretty good. I didn't get a picture because he was kind of walking out. But I just said, dude, really love your work. And he actually stopped and came back. He's like, oh, man, thanks. Really, really appreciate that. So Sunday afternoon, we ran around the show floor real quick. I actually had 2 badges that day, so my wife and I got to look at all the awesome stuff. We met the guy that plays Hector. He was in Fast and the Furious, and Bruce Almighty, the one that says, I believe that when a monkey comes out of my butt. I got to meet him, and I was like, oh, we just worked on Fast and the Furious. He's like, oh, he worked on Fast and Furious. And then we saw the Hunger Games booth, had this cool hologram effect thing. We saw the Breadwinners signing with Gary Doodles and Eric Balzos. All yep. Play sway sway. And my kids are a big fan of Breadwinners. Breadwinners signed 3 of these for the kids. This is the new Nick show. Creators signed this for the kids. It's another new Nick show. They signed this one for me. It's very nice. Also got some Batman masks for the boys and some other cool stuff. There was so much swag. I didn't even have a chance to buy anything. Everything that I was even slightly interested in was pretty much sold out by the time I got in. But it was really more for connecting with other actors and seeing friends. So, yeah, it was totally worth the trip. We saw the WB booth, the 75 Years of Batman stuff. That was freaking awesome. All the costumes. Got all the helmets from all the movies, and got Catwoman's mask and whips, and saw the new trailer for all the new Batman stuff. I saw the leaked version of Superman versus Batman, Batman versus Superman, and that was freaking awesome. I didn't see the Age of Ultron one, though, unfortunately. We saw Comic Alley, and apparently some of those guys were big fans of Honest Trailers, which is freaking awesome. Gave me some free stuff, which I plan to give away. Got to meet Ashley Eckstein again. This time I actually got a picture with her. She's the voice of Ahsoka from Clone Wars, but she also created Her Universe, which is a brand of Star Wars girls' clothing line. And Sunday night, at the end of the entire convention, we went to Bibbidi Bippo's, or however, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, whatever you call it. It's the Italian place with family style. We went with Shartimus and his fiance, Charlita One, and Sean and his fiance. The Screen Team guys, I met them at VidCon. Black Nerd Andre was there. And Realistic Videos, who we shared a room with, Mandy was there as well. So yeah, it was a big table full of us. So we ate and we had a lot of laughs and shared some stuff and swapped stories and got a big group picture. That was really cool. And to top it all off for our vacation, I took my wife to the WB Studios tours in LA on Monday. So she was hugely impressed with all the stuff from Friends and Gilmore Girls and just a lot of her favorite shows, or Warner Brothers shows. So she got to see all the props and just really got to geek out good. Got to wear the sorting hat, and apparently I belong in Hufflepuff. Got a bunch of pictures of the Harry Potter stuff for my daughter. She's a bigger fan of Harry Potter than I am, but I got her some great pictures. And downstairs was the 75 Years of Batman. There's a lot more stuff from Batman over the years down there, including costumes and props. And then the auto room that has all their vehicles in it was swapped out. The Mystery Machine was out in the parking lot, so I did get to see that again. But they had all the Batmobiles and Batwing and the motorcycles and everything from all the different Batman movies. Overall, an amazing experience. I know this video has been a little bit long, but yeah, it was super freaking cool. And now it's time to go see Guardians of the Galaxy. And you'll be getting a review of that very soon. So first up, there's going to be Hercules and Lucy, which was, you'll find out. So stay tuned for those reviews next. Then Guardians of the Galaxy. Then back to more impression type videos and some more gameplay stuff. So stay tuned right here. So listen for me at the movies.